Hey everyone. So as you may have noticed, the latest version of Substance Painter, it looks a little bit different than in the videos that I've recorded. As soon as I finished recording those videos, brand new version of Substance Painter dropped with some very cool new features. So I'm going to show you how to make the UI operate and look as close to the one that I have. Um, and then following that, I'll show you some of the features that have been added. It's completely up to you if you want to give it a shot. I'll do what I can to help you out, but again, with the lack of videos, it might be a little bit more difficult. But you know, not bad to know what I'm about to show you either way. Okay, so when you go to create a new project, I'm going to select my mesh as I normally would. Um, you're going to notice this new section here. It's called UV Tile Settings, cannot be changed later. Keep that in mind. You cannot change this after the fact. If you would like to see Substance Painter set up in a similar way that I had I've shown you in the videos, you're going to want to go with this bottom one. It says convert UV tiles into individual texture sets, legacy. So if I hit OK, you're going to notice that we have 1001, 1002, 1003. And when you look in the 2D view, you only have one UV tile. So if I were to add a fill layer here, you'll see that the color doesn't go across this one or this one. And if I were to go into this one here, the 1002, this is the inside of the mouth, you'll see that that gets updated. And the eye is 1003, hasn't been touched yet. If I were to add a fill layer on top of all of this, and let's just say I wanted to paint like an orange stripe right across the body and the mouth. To do that, you would expect you could just paint across like that, but it will not let you jump from one UDIM tile to another UDIM tile. So if I had to do that, I'd actually have to go into this here. I'd have to create a new fill layer. I'd have to match the color, etc., etc. Like it's just going to be a big pain because you'd have to try to paint that in by hand, which it's pretty tricky, especially if you're dealing with like smoke or wispy stuff, or if you had a helicopter that had smoke coming like streaming down one side and you wanted soot on it. Very, very difficult to do it with just one UDIM tile at a time. So the new thing that they've added, so if we go here, pick my T-Rex again, right here it says preserve UV tile layout per material and enable painting across tiles. So per material means that these entries up here are going to be based on the materials that have been assigned in Maya. For me personally, I like to just make sure that there's nothing assigned except for like one Lambert or one shader across everything, just to help simplify it. That would be on the Maya side before you bring in the OBJ. And the way that it would store that information is right next to this OBJ. You'll notice that an MTL file also kicks out. That MTL file, if you delete it, you're not going to have to worry about any of the different materials showing up. It'll just be one flat OBJ that you bring in. If you have any questions about that, feel free to bug me, but I'm just going to press forward here. So I'm going to click OK. And you'll notice now we have AI standard surface. So that was the material that was assigned to this model in Maya. So I'm going to rename that one just to T-Rex. I recommend everybody do that right off the bat. And you'll notice that now we have a whole bunch of UDIM tiles all the way up to 1100 right there. So 1001, 1011, 21, 31, 41, all the way up. So we have 100 UDIM tiles that we could potentially use. And now, if I were to add a color, you'll notice that the swatch doesn't change. So that's one thing that's, I kind of miss it, but to have something update across all three UDIM tiles, this one might be red, this one might be blue, this one might be green. I guess there's no real way to show that in an icon. But the benefits of this are now, if I were to create another layer, make this one yellowy, right click, add black mask. Now I can paint right across UDIM tiles. So it went from this one over across this one and onto this one over here. So that's the benefit of this new workflow. This is kind of This functionality was what made Mari so important, because you could paint across UDIM tiles. And now that Substance Painter has it, it's definitely going to give Mari a run for its money. But yeah, so it's some really amazing functionality. Not that much different than the previous workflow, but this really is a game changer for Substance Painter for sure. I'm going to leave the video right there, but that's basically the only things that you're really going to notice in terms of functionality. If you're trying to follow along with the videos, again, I recommend doing the other method. Oh, actually, before I leave, one last thing that I wanted to point out that is going to seem a little bit different is in the exports. You're going to notice that they have this other tab here. This is just kind of like a giant checklist of just showing you exactly what's going to be spit out. This menu here and this menu here are going to be pretty similar. Again, I find this new tab that they've added a little bit redundant, but it's nice that you can always open the output directory with this button here and see how your exports are going. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. So I'll leave it there. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to me, and then we'll go from there. Thank you very much.